Welcome, Rémi, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Psygnosis, this new album, Mercury, and more things related in general into the metal world. So we start with I think with a common question in all interviews. So why the band delayed 6 years to release a new album? Because your previous album Neptune was released in 2017. Now you are Mercury 7 years later. So what happened?
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about Mercury. And sorry about my poor English.
No worries, no worries.
So about the 6 years between Neptune and Mercury, a lot happened. We actually, I started to compose the Mercury before the release of Neptune. So I started like in 2017, something like that. And I finished in 2020. But in this meantime, I moved. I moved out to Paris. I had a lot of changes in my life, so we had a lot of delay because of that. After I finished everything, Raphael had to do his cello parts. So he needed like 6 or 7 months, and after that we were ready to record it. So we were still in 2020. But Thomas had a surgery, Thomas, our drummer, so he was unable to play drums. So we still had to wait that he recover. And we were in the middle of COVID, so we had time to wait. And we finished the recording and the mastering in last year, September of last year. And we looked for a label to release it. Our first goal was Season of Mist. It was the very first label that we sent our album, and they said yes instantly. So we were really happy. So yeah, that's why we took a long time to release it.
Okay. And well, that's interesting news. Well, a lot of move happened, pandemic, a lot of changes in the life. So interesting to know. So one thing that you said about now for I think this is this Mercury is the first label of the band because the all albums from the Psygnosis were released by yourself, so independently. So
Exactly.
how was the enter? And one was curious. Well, how was the enter to the one of the big labels in France, especially in Seas of Bliss?
Well, we knew that we were limited to alone. We didn't have the real capacity, and we had difficulties to do the promotion and everything else. So we knew that if we wanted Psygnosis to have a bigger audience, we had to have a label. So we didn't want it to close doors. We didn't want it to just send our music to little labels. So we tried the one we wanted first, and after that, if they said no, we were looking for something else. But it matched. It matched. So that's why we wanted Mercury to have a bigger audience, and we also had less time for the music than before. You know, Raphael, I've now a family. I have my job that had take me a lot of time and everything else. So and Elise have another bands. So we have less time to do the promotion. We still have time to do Psygnosis, but less for the promotion and everything else. So we needed a label to help us. That's why.
Okay, interesting, interesting. So I saw since the beginning, since 2009, the band was created in 2009. Your first album, Phrases, was composed and written and record everything by you at that time.
Yeah,
So then,
and
see,
it was an EP. It wasn't an album.
okay, it wasn't, well, in EP was
Yeah,
41 minutes. Well, more. Well,
uh,
well, since that EP, you decided, well, you that was the only album that you record by yourself, everything. Since the second album, when Anti Sublime, you decide to use one older members, Rafael, Anthony, Jeremy for that album, and now this since then you decide to always bring new blood, bring new members, change members. What happens normally the change members in a band is normally at these times. So what did you decide to do everything by yourself at the beginning, and what motivates you to create since the anti-sublime full lineup in Psygnosis?
well, in the beginning, Psygnosis was a project I created to. Well, I had a lot of different projects. I had like one death metal band, one black metal band. It was a one-man band, but I had a death metal project, black metal project, electronic project, everything. And I thought, why should I have a lot of projects? I should put everything in one project and let's go. I don't care. I want to do what I want to do, and I don't have to be in boxes. So at the moment I was alone because I'm like an antisocial guy. I didn't have a lot of friends, so yeah, I was alone. And after that, I thought that this music deserved to have a lineup to do more live shows. So I needed people to do that, and with the guys at that time, we became a real band. It wasn't just my project; it became a real band, and we decided together. Even if I'm still at the origin of the music, we decided everything as a band, and we were arranging the music together, that kind of stuff. And for the changes in the lineup, every time it wasn't our decision, it was the decision of the members to leave for a lot of reasons in their life and everything else. So that's why we are now with this lineup, and we are stable since like 5 years now. So I think it's longest time we have a stable lineup.
Okay, okay. Well, one thing that is very interesting about the album before the label, one or even the label, is that you decide complete record this album without vocals. This is your first album an instrumental part, because the all albums has all little vocals in the first two, say 3 or 4. That is the first time that you decide to do everything instrumental now. So what do you decide to create an album just instrumental, or perhaps meanwhile you are creating the album, you were trying to put the voices and don't fit very well, and we were letting down at the instrumental area.
Mm, well, when we did Human Being, we had our singer Johan, and he was a really great singer, really great singer. I think we didn't hear enough his talent on Human Being. He was really great, but he had to leave for health issues, and we tried to find another singer. We didn't find it. We didn't find anyone who were good enough to take his place. So at the moment we thought, well, we know Raphael. He's playing cello on Human Being on 2 tracks. He played cello on Sublimation and everything. Why not being instrumental and play with him? It was really natural. And for me, it didn't change anything because I was already composing the same way that today. I was doing the full track, and after that, the members put their touch. So at the moment it was a singer. The singer put his vocals onto the full track, and now Raphael is doing the same. So it didn't change anything actually in the composing process. But actually on Mercury we tried to change stuff, but it didn't work. Like in Calories Basin, I tried to leave space for Raphael. Like I did a blast beat with a melody on guitar, and I thought, okay, Raph, you have space here. You can do whatever you want, and it didn't find anything. So I had to recompose to do something else. So I think this way is working for everyone. So I don't think we will change anything for the future. And I'm really happy with our lineup like this. I like the instrumental stuff. I don't listen to a lot of instrumental metal, but I don't know, with the cello, it's like it's natural.
Yes, with the cello, yes. Even if we speak about, yeah, the next question is related to the cello area, because when I hear for this for this Mercury album, I really remember the few touch and the beginning for the Australian band Neobliviscaris, because I think they was the first band they put into the cello with extreme metal music, well, very fast things, progressive technical things, because the cello in the metal scene exists since the beginnings of 90s, with My Dying Bride, with a lot of things, with a lot of bands more. So what do you decide for this new album to put the cello? No?
Well, we already had cello on Neptune. It isn't the first album. So why cello? Because we knew Raphael. To tell you the full story, when we released Anti-Sublime, it was Raphael who contacted us and said to us, "I like your music. I'm doing cello. Maybe we can do something." And just like that. So yeah, it clicked. And when we didn't find any singer, it was just natural, and Raphael was there, and we knew that cello worked, so it wasn't a big decision to make. It was yeah, let's go. So we didn't think a lot, just say, okay, we'll try, and if it didn't work, we would find something else, but it worked, so we didn't thought more of that.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, now you told me that now that you are in, and I think you are in another country, because you are not in France at this moment, I think, right?
Sorry?
Are you in France now?
Yeah. Actually,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, because okay. Well, well, talking about that, but you moved. You told me that you moved during the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
To other cities, etc.
Well,
and blah
yeah,
blah.
I moved to one city to Paris, and it was a big change.
Oh, okay. So if you move now, when I think the old band is in the first city that you create the band. So how was the band do for the how will be the band do with for the tours, for the gigs, because sometimes it's very difficult to fit and rehearsal.
Well, we are everybody is in Paris or just right outside Paris, so it's really easy for us to be together. So it's not a problem.
Okay. Well, talking about
it was like we were in Macon at that time, and we hired Thomas on drums and Elise on guitar, and they were in Paris and I was in Macon. So when I moved to Paris, and Raphael was already in Paris, so actually the three of them was in Paris and I wasn't, so I moved there. Okay, it's more like this.
Okay, so talking about from the aspects of the music, some people some people is still stagnated with this aspect that the band plays death metal. But when I hear the music, for me, it's just more complex. It's not just death metal. You have black metal, death metal, well, with the cello influence had a lot of taste, a lot of textures there. It's very different. So for me, you are more than more than the progressive death metal. You are more progressive metal because you have a lot of influence into the metal scene, not just death metal. Even if we spoke about now the instrumental, the growl parts are very disappears from this new album. So now for me the Mercury is more a progressive Psygnosis with this Mercury is more a progressive metal than a progressive death metal. So how do you label or how do you tag the styles of the band? Is still you Did you still consider us a progressive or a death metal band yet?
Well, I like to say atmospheric extreme metal, not necessarily progressive. Um, for me, progressive it's a little blurry to have a real definition. For me, progressive is more like Pink Floyd or Archive. But when I hear progressive metal, it's not the same feeling that Pink Floyd or Archive. So it's kind of blurry for me. And for me, progressive metal have a focus on technicality. And I don't feel like Psygnosis is really technical. I don't think I'm a really good guitar player, actually. So I don't think we are progressive. But a lot of people say that we are progressive, so I kind of believe them. But for me, it's like more atmospheric extreme metal. Atmospheric because we have a lot of atmosphere, and sometimes it's more quiet. And extreme metal because yes, we have blast beats and this kind of stuff. So for me, it's the best definition. But yeah, I didn't find anything else, or I have to invent something. But I don't want to invent something. It's more the public have to find the real name they want to give us. But for me, just atmospheric and extreme. That's it, I think.
Well, okay. Well,
You think we are progressive?
yes. For me, more progressive metal than progressive metal than progressive death metal because there's no for me. I didn't hear. I didn't hear anything like rips or schemes from the death metal. No, more metal, just metal for me, and sometimes that the death metal.
All right.
Okay, with this aspect, I didn't know that the album has a duration of 56 minutes. There's a long way to hear the music, but as you can see now, the new trend or the new how do you, the new return on time of the people, the return on time of the people are more like related with the singles. The music is not like anymore like the A's since 60s to 90s is not like anymore, and now the people prefers to hear the music just by one or two songs from the album. So why did you decide to create an album so long in a world that prefer just hear one or two singles from this album?
Well, for us, it is already shorter because Neptune was like an hour and 17 minutes, and it was a big baby. It was really hard to digest it, so we wanted to do something shorter. For us, it's already shorter. So why we decided to still have still longer? It is still long. Well, because we like this format, we like albums, and we like to take the time to listen to music. We don't want to be in some trend or whatever. We just want to do what we like. So we like this format. So just like that, we just want to do what we like.
Yes, that's
Just
correct.
it's as simple as that.
Yes, and that's correct. The band always played more than an hour an album in the previous albums. But well, now with this aspect, I remember that I read an article about the minutes or seconds that is very catchy for the people when they listen a song or perhaps an album, etc. The science the science says that when a music is good or when a song is good, the 15 or 20 seconds are the best way to understand whole concept of the music in general. No, it's necessary to understand the 15 or 20 seconds of the album, and then you enter to the band, to the album, etc., etc. So with this aspect that the music and the Mercury has, it's very difficult to, well, it's very difficult to say just the 15 seconds of the first song is the very catchy way to understand the album, because has a lot of dynamics. If you hear the first 20, the first 12, 30 minutes, it's very it's very different. So what is your opinion about this conception of the science said that the first 15 or 20 seconds are the best way to understand the music when you create a songs more than 10 minutes?
I don't think I have an answer to that. I think the Stooges are probably right, but I don't think I have an answer to that. We just want to make the music we like and how we like it. Science is based on statistics, and when we are doing metal, we know that we are not the most popular style. We already know that. I think people that listen to metal are more patient in general. Not everybody, of course, but in general, I think. Yeah, actually, it's just that personally, when I listen to an album, even if I don't like it on first listen, I try again. I don't want to stop at my first impression, so I expect people to be like this when they hear Psygnosis. I think. Yeah.
Okay. And with this aspect of the music is very different, the metalhead are very different, especially now, now that everything is very personalized in tastes, in music in general, and there are more strange, technical, progressive things, experimental, avant-garde. As you can see, a lot of mixers now happen, even in the extreme metal world, in many bands of the planet. So what do you think will happen to the next generations when listening to the music that is very personal? Would we be taking about close word for the new bands, because these kind of songs no longer a song of the radio, because they prefer to listen to more personal artists, and not like the 70s and 80s had a hits in the radio, and for that hits you will go to the stadiums, fill stadiums, etc. It's not like that anymore.
It's just the way it is, I think. It's like when you think about like old bands like Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath. At the moment, it was weird and personal, and today it's just normal. So we will know in 30 years if we can't know yet. I think we have to wait we have to wait to see how it will be, how it will be in the future, and how the music will evolve.
Okay. We are very close to this interview, Remy, and for this aspect, what kind of plans the band has for this new album? Perhaps you will embark on tours, perhaps you will do more videos, or perhaps you are doing now perhaps the next album of the band. Who knows? What are the future plans that the band has for the album, for the band, etc.?
Well, for now, our goal is to do live shows. Well, first of all, we want to still promote it a little more on the internet, but we are in the beginning of looking for new gigs, new shows, and we are really hungry. We want to play. it was like 5 or 4 years since we didn't play shows, so we really want to play Mercury live. This is our first goal. On my own, I already write some stuff for the next album, but it's so far nothing great. But I already began. But we have time. We have time. First of all, live shows. Lot of live shows, please, and we'll see after that. And what did you think about Mercury, you personally?
My personal opinion.
Yeah.
Well, for me, this is a great album. It's a great album. We did a review on our web, so we put a great qualification, 9/10. So it's very interesting music. But I love the music when it has a lot of dynamics, a lot of textures, because you need to hear more than 1, 2, 3, even more than 5 times. You need to hear more than 5 times and understand really what happened in the music. For me, as I said in the previous question, you don't have just death metal. You have black metal, you have metal, rock, who have a lot of influence. So it's very for this aspect. For me, it's very difficult to put just one label. No, and the only label that it fits perfectly for me is progressive, because the progressive since the 70s to now take some rips from the rock, from the folk, from the metal, that's the way the progressive constructs since the beginning to now. That's why the best way to understand the music is more progressive. You have a lot of textures. It's the only way for me. You have more. I mean, obviously, as I said, the listener has to do more listening. Just if you understand the album with one listen, it's impossible. You need to hear more, 2, 3, 4 times, and understand what happened really in each song. For example, Sunshine, or Colors Basin, or Mercury are great songs with different textures. Each song belongs to the same album, but at the same time, each song is very different from each other. For me, that's the goal of the album.
Okay, nice. What is your favorite track?
I don't have a favorite track, really.
Okay.
I'm the old ways. I'm 43 years old, so I prefer to do this album is much better than the previous one, I prefer the album. If I compare this album with the previous one, I prefer this Mercury is much better than the previous one. You always continue evolving. That's the way I hear music now. Well,
we are the same. I think in albums, not in tracks.
Yes, me too. I prefer that's why when I hear the instrumental area, I try to relate, like when I hear for the first time Joy Satriani, Steve Aid, this kind of rock music in general. And when you hear this Mercury, you have this aspect. It's very involving, very evolution music, extreme. A lot of things happen. So for me, even for me, it's very impossible to say which one's much better than the first of this album. You need to hear. For me, it's a conceptual album. If it is perhaps a conceptual album.
It is. For me, it is.
Yes. Okay. Well, talking about other kind of aspects in the music industry, as I mentioned in the first question, as you can see now, we're in years there are no more bands that fill stadiums, and everything is personalized by tastes and colors. And now, thanks to the TikTok trend, there are a lot of trends, or trends in general. There are sometimes very silly and even implausible in sometimes, because it's very annoying, these kind of trends in TikTok. Where do you think art enters in this generation that already consumes little or nothing physical material, and only takes music as accompaniment to work, to do some works in house, or wash the car, wash the pets, the cats, or clean the house? It's not like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, when I remember when I hear for the first time the first album from Autopsy at the end of the 80s, and I'm stick with that album for over a month. I remember that. So, but now that the music is like a background in their lives.
I think it was already the same in our time. I remember when I was in high school or whatever, there wasn't a lot of people who were fan of music. A lot of people just have music in the background and didn't really care. So I don't think it's generational. It's just now with social medias, we just see it even more. But I don't think it was that different. Even when I see my parents, my father is a big fan of music, but my mother is not. And how to say this? Well, I know more people that isn't interested in music. Well, when I say interested, they are interested but not passionate about it. And I think it's just the same today. Just maybe we have a different view because we are older, but I'm convinced that it was the same, that it is the same right now than before. It's just that passionate people still exist. Now with social medias, we have a different view because we have the opportunity to see mediocrity, maybe. And in the past, we didn't really saw it, or only in the streets. So maybe today we think that we have more mediocrity than before, but I just think that today we are seeing it, and in the past we didn't, but it was already there. It's my point of view.
Okay. Well, one of the last questions about this, in general for the music industry, as you can see now, everything is, I think is very messed up sometimes, because now the digital platforms are the new way to hear music just by singles, but at the same time, the music industry see into the metal scene that the fans are still collecting physical material. That's why Nuclear Blast, Century Media are now, are now with the biggest industry like Warner Bros, like Sony Music. These changes in the world, and even this is like metal labels are still creating tapes, vinyl. So now, what should it, even now we have I don't know, I don't see like that threat, because the AI is a new, it's like a threat for the musicians. They think that they will lose the career, because now the AI can do everything with the bass guitar, drums, voice. Even I see a lot of covers with the AI, and with Freddie Mercury singing a Metallica song. So it's very confusing now. So how do you see now the music industry in general, with all these kind of aspects, the digital platforms? Because now you have your music all in Spotify, but at the same time the Spotify doesn't pay you like a play show. No, it's very different. It's just $1 for a, a million streams, I think. So it's very so what
So
should be about?
it's not why it's not €1 for a million, but it's not much. Well, my point of view, well, today we can't do without Spotify, because they are the biggest ones. I know a lot of people with Spotify or Deezer or Apple Music, so we can't do without it. So I don't think we really have a choice if we want to exist in the music industry. And for the physical part, I think it's just passionate people are still here, and they will still be here. I don't know how the future will be. Nobody can know, I think, but I feel like we are in some kind of equilibrium at the moment, in some kind of balance, with passionate people buying music, buying vinyls, buying CDs. Well, less CDs now, more vinyls. And I think it will stay like this for a long time. But I'm not really sure. It's really hard to say. About AI, I have my opinion. I think AI can help us for a lot of things. I had some music plugins with AI, so it can help us to have like weird noise or to find the good thing, the good synth sound that we are looking for. Sometimes it can really help us. The danger is people don't have to be dependent of AI. It can help us, but you have to be able to do without it. That's the problem with AI in the art industry right now. I'm really angry when bands are using Midjourney for their artworks or this kind of things. I think that artists should be not used but be called. So we have to find the real balance with AI helping us and still doing music on our own. It's a big subject. I don't know how the future will be, but at the moment, I hope Spotify will stop to have the monopoly. I wish, but we'll see. I don't know. For the moment, I prefer people to buy vinyls and T-shirts from us. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is true. So, well, Rémi, the sad times arrive at this interview, and I hope you enjoyed this one like me. It's really good. Love this new album. As I said, it's an amazing one, much better than the first, than before, than the others. I prefer these new ones more.
Thank you.
Much better. So perhaps you want to add something to your Latin American fans and Metallic followers?
I don't know if you know it, but we had a tour in Mexico like 5 years ago, 7 years ago, and we loved it. So I wish we will be able to come back. We had like 10 or 11 shows at that time, and I hope we'll be able to do the same. Or even more, who knows? So I hope we will be able to come back and play Mercury or the later album in Mexico. I hope so. And I hope you will enjoy Mercury. I hope our work paid. Yeah. Well, thank you.